Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Can and can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars on the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Question in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Can and can in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. Live that loud, that break in the mind. Can and bold. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, their foes can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the Morning. Of course, there's Ken. Good morning, Ken.
Morning there, buddy.
And we got a Joe. First thing in the morning, we got some Joe this morning. Everyone should have some Joe in their coffee cup.
Ew, you stay out of my coffee cup, Joe.
I only stirred it up.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
You keep your swizzle stick to yourself, thank you.
you know, I mean, come on, man. You know. So you guys been watching Quarterback at all since it came out yesterday?
Not yet. I watched the first season there, but haven't watched into this one yet.
Yeah, I mean, the first season was good. There we go. Steeler fans coming to you live. There we go. I'm through the whole thing. I'm on the last episode. I watched that today. It's funny because Kirk Cousins was in that season 1.
I was going to say, please tell me he's not in season 2.
Oh yeah, he's in season 2. That's why I bring him up, because he's in both. It's hard not to like Kirk Cousins though. It's really hard not to like the guy. I mean, he's just a nice guy. If he's like,
It's the nicest bank robber you'll ever meet.
yeah, I mean, but like you listen to him speak about how he plays the game, about the game, just in general, he's a nice guy. He's very detail oriented, very hard on himself, probably harder on himself than the fans or anyone else is. As I'm watching the show though, I'm thinking, dude, Kirk Cousins is going to be a coach in this league. Like when Kirk decides to hang it up, I could see him as a head coach. Yeah, Brent. Yeah, well, come on, dude. She's a SI swimsuit model. So yeah, Goff's model, aka his wife, does get a lot of screen time on this season. Which is funny because you know what? And Joe Burrow is the other quarterback, and Burrow is just interesting as all hell.
The only thing I've heard about the new season is Joe Burrow talking about, I'm not going to buy the Batmobile after those assholes broke into my house.
Yeah, so they have the episode where he's like, I just bought the Batmobile, and he's like all excited. And then they have, where his house gets broken, and the producer asks him, so is this why you cancel the Batmobile? And you could just tell the look on his face and everything about it. And he's like, yeah, that was part of the decision. Because like now everyone knows where I live, so I can understand him not wanting. He's like, someone's going to try to jack it.
I was going to say, well, it wouldn't have been too hard to figure out where he lived because he's the one house that's got the Batmobile in the fucking driveway.
Luca, you started watching it yesterday before I did, and how is it? Never mind, I'm not going to ask you, Luca. No, I'm not. We're not going to spoil it because all this stuff is already in the news. But I mean, Joe Burrow is interesting. Interesting cat for sure. It's funny though because like with Kirk, his whole family's kind of featured in there. His brother, the traditions with his high school buddies. You got Goff's wife all over the place, and it's like Burrow. You're like, dude, who's in your life besides your parents and your wide receiver and his parents?
Which Batmobile was he buying? Was it the one from the Adam West series, or was it like from one of the movies?
No,
It was going to get Tumblr. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't know. I might just still buy that shit.
Oh no. That's a nice one and all, but I'm telling you, if I'm buying a Batmobile, It's the '89 Batmobile. That sumbitch was awesome.
Oh, that was a cool Batmobile too.
Burrow has enough money to buy the Bat Jet, though, if he really wanted.
Uh-oh,
I mean, he wouldn't have any money left, but he like, I mean,
you see the Batwing touching down at the stadium.
that's what I'm saying. Like, do you really need a house if you have the Batwing? Like, you know.
Oh, jeez. Look, only Luke watching the season of quarterback is reopening wounds for Luka.
Wasn't it like
how much?
I think it was like $3 million or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like you watch Joe Burrow though, like, well, he does have game night with his high school buddies and stuff like that, but like his story's kind of cool. You know, kid from Ohio, you know, did camps there in Cincinnati, you know, as a youth, goes to a college in Ohio, doesn't work out, goes to LSU, and then comes home to do something. I mean, and people don't realize how good of a season Burrow had last year. Like, you really understand it more watching him, you know, like he had a great season last year. Like his team, it's like, dude, like if they even had, you know, here's the way the Bears fans will understand it. If his defense was it's like his defense and our offensive line, if they were half as bad this year as they were last year, oh my God, Cincinnati's going to do some phenomenal freaking things. That offense was ridiculous. He's ridiculous. But that offense was ridiculous. Their defense is what sucked. And it's like with the Bears, like, you know, the offensive line was just terrible. That's just it, Luka. We have not seen anything of Joe Burrow's personal life like that. No girlfriend, no nothing. Just his parents, Jamar Chase and Jamar Chase's parents, because they're all Jamar Chase's parents and Burrow's parents. You know, they're all besties from college, from the college days. And literally the only time you see him hanging out with anyone is with Chase and his family.
Yeah, he's got a bit of that Aaron Rodgers in him where he tries to keep his private life super private.
And he says that in the show. He's like, look, my life is very, you know, he with the robbery stuff, you know, he opens up about it. It's like, my life is very private or very public. And he's like, and I get that. I love it, you know, and it's what goes with my job, and I love my job. But then there are some things I just try to keep private that are just for me. My home is one of them. So like I said, he was saying this after the break-in. He's like, my home is one of those things that is just for me and my people, not for everyone else. Everything else I do is out there for the public. You know, I'm fine with that. But there are some things that have to be just mine. And I get that. I agree with them. I think that's true of any athlete. You know, like, okay, they have very public lives. Like, we know who they're dating and all this other stuff, which really, why should we care? Good morning, Isaiah. But why should we care? But, you know, look, these guys got to have their private lives too, and let them be private, right? Luka knows all about those and all the different cities he goes to, about keeping them private. But I mean, you know, it's just like, let these guys have, you know, a life that we don't have to see. Like, I honestly, when they do shows like Quarterback and they kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and you get to learn a little bit more about that guy, that's cool. But that's also them deciding, hey, I'm going to show you a little bit more. It shouldn't be like, you know, where we're like invading and being intrusive.
Yeah. Does Luka have a lot lizard in every city he visits?
And if you don't know what a lot lizard is out there watching, go Google it. Or go to the Urban Dictionary. There you go.
Or just go to your local truck stop. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, ask the trucker.
Yeah.
But I mean, Burrow's a pretty kind of like nerdy dude, man. Like his Christmas gift was like, well, too thought out. You know what's funny though, and this made me think something. He goes, because they were asking like, how'd you get the gift? He goes, well, my assistant. Like, you have an assistant? Like, we've never seen your assistant. So his assistant is kept very private too. But yeah, his assistant, he said, hey, here's what I do. His assistant worked for his cousins with Sylvester Stallone or something like that. And there's this whole story of how he got this Christmas gift. I won't tell you guys what it is, so Luka can watch it and see it later. But like, even like the gift was like thought out with a backstory and just like super cool. You're like, all right, man. Like Burrow, there's a whole other side to Burrow that's actually kind of cool. But he's
I get why.
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say I get why he would keep his assistant private, because like especially with his house getting broken into, it's like your assistant probably spends more time at your house than they do at theirs. So if somebody was looking to rob you, they'd follow your assistant around and get their routine down.
What happened with that though? There was a string of robberies with professional athletes, and what they do is they use public records to find out where people live. Because when you buy a house, it's in the public record. They find it in public records, then they surveil them and wait for them to go on an away game and then break in. Burrow was just one of many that it happened to. And
sounds like these guys need to start hiring some armed security for their house when they go to away games.
I mean, you're thinking like, okay, so they broke it. They broke a window, got into one of his rooms, stole his jewelry. And that's all they took, right? He's
that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, well he was like flipping about it away. He was like, it's all insured. He's like, that's not why I'm mad. I'm not. He's like, I wasn't mad about the jewelry being stolen. It's all insured. I'm gonna get my money back. It's just that's my private space. That's what he was more. He was more mad about his privacy because now the media and everyone knew where his house was. He was more upset with that than the stuff that was actually stolen, I think. And it's just the way he reacted. And I get that, man, because like that's worth more than the money. Your privacy, your retreat, where you can get away from it if you leave a public life. That I can understand that completely. So it's a good show. I mean, Kirk Cousins being Kirk Cousins, man. Everyone's gonna get them a Roy Rogers now. That dude is so one of the funniest scenes though. After a Falcons game, he goes to a fast food restaurant, it's like a burger cookout or something that's called like that. And he goes to a drive-through, and like, dude, you're talking, it's right by the stadium. This is with his brother. He's like, I've always wanted to stop at this place and get food after a game. So they stop in, get their order. They get to the drive-through window. The girl knows absolutely nothing. I mean, you're like probably within 2 or 3 miles of the stadium. She didn't even realize he was Kirk. Oh, were you at the game? He's like, yeah, I was there. And his brother's like, you could just tell. He's like, yeah, I was at the game. Oh, who won? Oh, the Falcons. Like, oh, was it close? I was like, oh, it came down to the last kick. Oh, so yeah, I was at the game. It was something else. And she's like, yeah, I'm a Saints fan. I was like, oh, okay. She had no idea it was Kirk Cousins in the car. None. Like 2-3 miles from the stadium. I mean, that's the thing about Kirk Cousins, man. He's such an unassuming dude. Like, you could be on a train and the dude goes get his hair cut at Great Clips. Oh yeah, he goes about this whole ordeal, this process, like, because I can get on the app, I can see the wait time. I know that if it's this, I can click it, drive in, walk straight into a chair. He's like, and every time he's like, it's almost an excitement because every time you get someone else doing your hair. So now I just have a picture from the a headshot from when I got to the team, and can you do this? And they do it, and it's like the guy's like a walking commercial for Great Clips. I mean, think about it. The dude goes to Great Clips to get his hair cut, so he pays what, $22 to get a haircut. Whereas some of these guys are paying their personal barber $500 to give him a trim. You know what I'm saying? All this stupid money. The guy drinks during the season. He only allows himself on special occasions one Roy Rogers, which is Coke and Grenadine. Think about this dude, man.
I swear to God, the Ned Flanders joke keeps cementing itself more and fucking more.
Well, he's really smart. Like, if you think about it, it's like he doesn't use his money on the things that players typically use their money on, right? Like he doesn't have like a whole shitload of flashy jewelry. He bought a regular house in a regular neighborhood. He goes to Great Clips.
No, last season he had a normal suburban home. The house he's in this time looks to be a bit more spacious. Okay.
But that's something you should spend money on, in my opinion.
He did buy a nice home in Georgia.
So you buy a nice house, right? And then, like, he doesn't go out drinking, right? He doesn't, like, he's not getting bottle service at the strip clubs, like, he
did buy himself a Benz. He's driving a Benz these days. And I say it's a spacious house, it's not a mansion. It's a nice home that, like, one of us could afford. It's a nice home.
It makes me wonder what he's saving his money for. Like, he not just because it's smart, but it's like I think Kirk has a plan. You know what I mean? Like we already saw he's made something close to like $600 or $700 million in his career. Like, I think he's trying to get past that billion mark, and who knows? Maybe he's trying to buy into a team. Like, when he retires, maybe ownership is something he's looking at.
Yeah, he no more minivan, John. He's driving a Benz this time. It's like an SUV, so he's got probably a G-Wagon, it looks like, because they don't show you the type of car. You can just tell, the steering wheel, you see the emblem. But I mean, he's got, he upgraded his car and his house. And, I think his basement, though, his basement's empty. He has nothing in his basement. There's a couple things on the wall, like for the Atlanta Braves, of all things, nothing of his football stuff. And he plays football in the basement with his kids. It's like a playroom for his kids. I mean, the dude's not flash. I think Joe's right. I think the guy's smart as hell. I mean, I think he's going to be a coach, or he's going to go into ownership or something, because the dude's got it together. Look, he has a 4-year contract. What, almost $200 million? I mean, he doesn't do endorsements, even though he should for Great Clips. Shit, he gave him a whole quarter of an episode was a ringing endorsement of why he goes to Great Clips. Coca-Cola, he could be bring the Roy Rogers back. I mean, I hadn't heard that drink name in forever. I mean, it's not a drink. It's Coke and Grenadine, but now you just buy cherry Coke. Not him. It's like he's such an enigma in the NFL, and that's what I like about this show, though, because Burrow is an enigma too, right? He's flashy, but he's not. You get the idea with Burrow, he's more of an introvert as a person, but he's very extrovert around football. And then Jared Goff just tries to be the All-American guy. He really tries. I mean, I don't know what to take on him. I mean, Kirk is going to start a Christian cult in Michigan once he retires. Yeah, I don't know if he branded you like that. I think he has. And you know what's funny? There's a story behind that too, that game with his brother and his high school buddies. So 2 of his high school teammates and his brother every year go to one game together. And every time they go to a game, it ends up being a good, something special happens for them. And the You Like That game was one of those games. And every year they do a different type of outfit and everything else. Good morning, Cam. Hope everything's going out there in Arizona. Hopefully Cam will have some good news to announce to us one day here shortly. He texted me the other day with a plan. We'll see if that happens. But Goff is hard for me to get a read on, man. It's like they do show his wife way too much. With him, it's almost like sometimes you're watching a sob story. Oh, I was always counted out, but look at me, I'm the underdog. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know about my take on Goff, man. He plays hurt a lot. Is he Burrow tough? Yeah, he might be, dude. The guy gets banged up. He plays. Kirk Cousins is funny because he ends up on the injury report. He's like, dude, if I would be on the injury report every time I wasn't feeling good or I was injured, it'd be my entire career. Kirk kills me. He's like, I'm injured every week. What are these people talking about? But if I'm at practice all day, I'm a full participant. He's just Kirk is stealing the show again, but Burrow makes it interesting. He does. So Luca, you need to finish watching it. I'm gonna finish the series off today. That means probably next year we'll get another season of receivers if they're gonna do alternating, or maybe we'll get running backs or something. I don't know. It'd be funny if they cover Jamar Chase next year, though, because then we'll see more Joe Burrow again. But the whole thing with Jamar Chase and Burrow, they kind of go into that a little bit. Dude, it is. And if you saw his wife, you'd be like, why?
To me, he looks like he's permanently stoned. He's got that Rogers look to him.
He did go to Berkeley. Grew up in Marin County.
Mm-hmm.
They only have the finest.
I mean, he's got the swimsuit model wife who they give way too much screen time to for a show about quarterbacks. Conversely, Kirk Cousins' wife is in the show, but not nearly as much. Even Kirk, like Kirk's wife, like when you first look at her, you're like, yeah, she's just your average suburban wife, but like she's got to go and get together, man. Like Kirk, dude, man, that dude wins, man. That dude wins. I mean, look, if you looked at the Cousin family, they just look like your typical suburban family, dude. But Kirk, man, got too much.
You know, that line would be a hell of a lot different if it was in Alabama.
Yeah. No, I mean, like you look at Kirk's wife, you just think she's like a Midwestern housewife, man. Like from Leave It to Beaver or something, like June Beaver or something. No, she's just like, yeah, she's very supportive. She's like, she gets his football side. Like she's like, he hurt his shoulder. He's like, she's like, he actually mentioned it to me. That means it's something. Because like she's like, he never talks about work at home really. He keeps it separate for the most part. But he actually mentioned the shoulder. He took this hit. Like, so it's significant. Like she gets all of it, and she's like just the perfect part for him. Yeah, I mean Kirk's got a cool family. Nice, you know, he does it right, and then you know you golf. You're just like, I don't know what the dude's doing. Like I don't got a read on him. And Burrow's just an interesting cat, man. He's kind of a strange dude. He's kind of an interesting cat. But it's like his only friend seems to be Jamar Chase. Well, he did have all the linemen over to his house one day, but what quarterback doesn't? So, I mean, it's a good series. Netflix did good. I think quarterback is better than receiver. The wide receiver show wasn't bad. But, you know, for this year for quarterback, you know, it's going to be – well, it's one episode left, and we're about to do the playoffs. I mean, it's a very – you know, it's not like season one where they went all the way to the Super Bowl with it. And Patrick Mahomes is the executive producer of the show.
That's why they didn't go all the way to the Super Bowl with it.
So it'll be interesting to see, you know, who they do on the next one. I think that show will, you know, it's probably pretty cheap for Netflix to do. So this year they'll probably do receivers. Be interesting if they do running backs. Running backs might be interesting.
They should do defenders. They should do like the corners. I think it would be cool to follow Max Crosby around. He's an interesting guy too.
Yeah, Myles Garrett. Yeah, you know, Jalen Johnson could be interesting. You know, so you know, Patrick Surtain.
Sauce Gardner, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's some interesting people they could follow around. Yeah. O-line guys, like Lucas said it before, like, yeah, like follow some of these O-line guys. Oh, geez.
I guarantee Kirk wears the gimp suit.
But no, you know, when it comes to football, though, Kirk gets it, man. Like, dude, he coming to the Minnesota game, he called exactly how it was going to go with him going back to Minnesota. Like, he gets it. Like, the guy is going to be a coach or an owner. I agree with Joe. He's got a plan. And he is going to buy into a team or be a head coach somewhere because the dude is football brilliant.
Oh, dude, you know, I just had a thought. Like, what if he said Kirk wears the gimp suit? What about the ball gag and his wife's name happens to be Peggy?
Hey, we went on the deep end here this morning. So, yeah, it was funny, like, Goff meets Eminem. And he's like, oh, thank you for coming. I'm like, it was just a weird interaction. Goff is just weird. Like, nothing about him makes sense except his wife, who they show way too much. Which
well, I mean, if you're rich and famous.
Goff, you might as well show his wife because she's more entertaining than her husband.
But if you're rich and famous and, you know, you want to meet Eminem, you have a chance to do that. Like, why not, right?
You do get to see a little bit of the Lions, like, coaching staff and how, you know, the team a little bit more. That's the nice thing about this show is the byproduct. You get to see the team, some of the team stuff that you get from the HBO show. I'm brain farting. Hard Knocks. You get a little bit of that Hard Knocks look, but different. It was interesting to see how some of that. It was funny when Goff had his perfect game. Was it 17 for 17? Dan Campbell didn't even give him a game ball. And And it was, they made a point of it in the show, and Campbell's like, he didn't even realize that Goff had a perfect game. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's it, Luka. He really. I mean, you get to understand some of his process a little bit, how he prepares a little bit, but yeah, like he's not that interesting. His wife is more interesting than he is, a lot more interesting. I mean, it's more interesting to hear her talk about spending time with football wives and girlfriends than it is him talking football.
That's terrible. Oh, you're a face of a franchise, and nobody even want to listen to you talk about football.
And Dan Campbell, dude, the more I see him and stuff like this, the more I think, man, what a bitch. He sounds like he's gonna cry half the time.
Hey,
I know he's not. He's a big tough dude, right? But like, he's got that voice that it almost makes you sound like he's going to cry, he's going to break out, like he's emotional. But it's like, I mean, he is emotional. We know he is. Like, he gets super excited, but it's like, you just kind of, yeah. I don't know. He's a weird dude too. Maybe that's why they get along so well. maybe that's why Ben Johnson's like, I get the fuck out of here. These dudes are weird.
They left him out of the circle jerk one too many times.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, if they had followed AB, I remember they did one of those home improvement shows. They did something for AB, like build him a treehouse or whatever, and that was actually one of the best episodes that show ever had. AB is an interesting cat, man.
Actually, they did do a show on AB. Well, they did the Hard Knocks. The Raiders had Hard Knocks the year that AB showed up to training camp in a hot air balloon with his feet burned and all that crap. Like, yeah,
AB's an interesting dude, man. Yeah,
it was quite the scene for Max Crosby. Max Crosby was a rookie that year, and he was talking about it on his podcast. He was like, they were like, "What was your impression like with AB and everything?" And he was like, everybody was just kind of like, what the fuck, dude? Like, he shows up in a fucking hot air balloon with his feet burned off, and like, then it's the helmet and it's this and that. And like, we were just like, when are we going to get down to football? Like, we were excited for the dude to, like, we thought he could help us. And it was just like, just one thing after another, man. He was like, but I learned a lot about, being a pro and this and that from it. He's like, I'm not going to be like this guy.
That's one takeaway from the show is like, Kirk Cousins, man, is a pro. The dude's about his business. I mean, you can say what you want about Kirk. We make fun, you can make fun of him like Luka does, but the dude, man, is a pro. Like, he's just he sends voice memos to coaches after games about his performance. Like he is always on task. No, I mean, he got who he got that from. He got that from Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning used to do that. And he'll send his coaches voice memos. They'd be like, look, I've watched film yet, but I felt like I didn't play that good for this, that, and the other. Let me know when you see the tape. I mean, he's very, yeah. I mean, the dude's a pro. Like, and it's funny because you hear the one thing about this show that I like about wide receiver and quarterback is, unlike Hard Knocks, you get a fair amount of the trash talk when these guys talk on the field, and some of it's hilarious, man. Like it's like breaking the fourth wall, like, because we don't hear it during games, right? In between plays, they're sitting there like jaw jack. Oh man, that was a nice play you just had. Yeah, man, I got around your guy. Like they're like buddies. It's like, and then like with Joe Burrow, they had the whiteout game, and like, bam, the defense are yelling, "Let me have that jersey! Let me have that jersey!" He's like, dude, really? Simping like a bunch of fanboys. Like, let me get that jersey after the game. Like, are you kidding me? And you think like these are pros, man, and they're like, let me get your jersey after the game, like they're a bunch of fanboys. It's like it's kind of weird because it's not the main emphasis of the show, obviously, but you get pieces of it. And some of the on the field sound bites you get, you're just like, okay, change your perception a little bit. These guys are smoking and joking in between plays.
Yeah, no. See, I miss the days when they were trying to kill each other between the plays. Instead of, hey, are you going to come over and we'll play goldfish after the game?
Yeah, I mean, Dorn, I mean, I think with Cousins, though, man, you look at his numbers, a lot of his career, he hasn't been the reason they haven't been winning, put it that way. Overall. I mean, the guy gets it. The guy won't put blame on people. That's the other thing. He just won't put blame on people. His teammates love him. Like when he went back to Minnesota, everyone that Minnesota roster after the game made a point. They had a line. They showed like a line. Vikings guys were like lined up to say hey to him. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, maybe that's what it. Yeah, because Bob talks about how he goes to fish to clear his mind of football things. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I wish they'd show more Burrow. It's been mostly Cousins, then Goff's wife, and then some Burrow. But when the Burrow pieces are probably some of the most interesting. The dude's just an interesting cat. But it's like, dude, you got to have a life besides hanging out with your wide receiver and his parent and your parents and his parents. You know what I mean? I mean, what else do you do, dude? They show his fashion
he
guy.
does.
He does have a
He's
fashion
just not going
guy.
to show you.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to show you his hangouts or things like that because, like you said, he wants to keep it private. You know,
a little bit of his personality wouldn't hurt. You know, we are getting a little bit of it, and we did see his fashion guy. I think it was episode 1 or 2. You know, the guy who does his shopping for his outfits and that was an interesting back and forth, like, you know, how he picks what he wears the games. But it's funny because throughout the show, the theme of his mom is he's always been very picky. Like, okay, like she's just that's her thing. He's always been picky about his clothes, and she says it over and over again. Like, okay, we get it. You know, but I mean, Joe Burrow is an interesting dude, man. Interesting dude. Hell of a quarterback. I mean, this show really emphasized how bad that defense was in Cincinnati, dude. Because he was tearing it up last year. They lost games, 3 or 4 games where they scored over 30 points in a game and still lost.
Mm-hmm. He was an MVP candidate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Despite the fact that his team didn't make the playoffs. Like, yeah, he played that good last year.
You know, he had never had a 5-touchdown game. He had multiple 5-touchdown games last year. Threw up for big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you one thing, though. They're going to have to keep re-signing Jamar as long as Jamar wants to be there, because Jamar and Burrow, man, those two, they've been playing together so long. They even talk about, like, he's like, yeah, Joe can just shift his body weight a certain way, and I know what he wants me to do. Like, these guys, their communication, verbal and nonverbal, is so deep that if Joe Burrow twitches his head.
That's the same way that Rodgers was with Jordy. They'd sit there and talk about it, how there'd be such subtle little signals that they know exactly what the hell the other one means.
Dude, no, Goff's wife is, she's cool, man. Goff's wife is cool, but Goff has no personality. Like,
you leave Detroit's Most Wanted alone.
I mean, it's funny, like, they're doing the Christmas tree. He tried to show some personality, but dude, it was still all her. It's like she married a great paycheck. I mean, she's got a personality, but the dude is just kind of like devoid of personality, dude. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what she offers him besides a paycheck. She's got all kinds of personality. She's like, he's just kind of like dry. I mean, maybe she likes it. I don't know, but like, they're doing the Christmas tree. He's like, well, she's like, yeah, I always do the Christmas tree, but because they're shooting the show, he has to do the Christmas tree. And it's just like, dude, just like, I don't know. He's just weird. He's just, yeah, Goff's dog has more personality than Goff does. So, yeah, he's just, he's like, what was it? He's like, he's got a punchable face. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean, he's just like, you just want to punch the dude. It's like, And, I hate to say that, but and he's a good quarterback, and you can see why he's a good quarterback. He does good preparation. His wife works with the preparation for him every week and all that. And it's like, that whole I mean, he does prepare. He's a good quarterback, but his personality is maybe he has a personality. It's just not translating onto the screen. I don't know, but yeah, his wife is the most interesting thing between them.
I actually saw a thing where he showed some personality. They had him go undercover to a junior college and pretend that he was going to be like a 4th string quarterback or something.
Yeah, that was good.
And all of a sudden he starts airing out like 50, 60-yard bombs.
He was still with the Rams when they did that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Well, and they did show when he got Walter Payton Man of the Year nomination and the stuff he does with the kids there and the interaction he has with those kids. He does some great things. That was phenomenal. And what a treat for those kids too. The way, I mean, and he stays a part of their lives. That's pretty cool too. So he does some cool shit, but like, let's see more of that side of him. But like what they're showing of him is just kind of like, yeah, it's just kind of like his personality just doesn't come across like there are some flashes, but yeah, the star of that show, you would think it'd be Joe Burrow, but it's Kirk Cousins, man. It's Kirk Cousins. Kirk better be on the next season of it too, man, because Kirk is just fun to watch. He's a herd. Fullback is also acceptable.
Well, I think also, Goff is probably being careful. Like, look at what happened with Devontae Adams in the receiver season. Like, you say the one wrong thing, and it's like all of a sudden it's like it creates problems for your team, or it just makes you look like a complete douche. And he's like, so he's being measured in how he portrays himself or how he's portrayed.
I mean, his teammates have like the whole Jared Goff chant they do in Detroit, which was started by David Montgomery. Well, David Montgomery and St. Brown. I mean, that could have been a cool thing they went with, and they tried to talk about it, and Goff is just kind of like, eh. It's like, it's like, come on, dude, that's actually kind of cool. If you think about it, it's kind of cool. Like at a Red Wings game, they start chanting his name for no apparent reason. His name has become like a rally cry to the sea. Yeah, there goes Motown.
Jared's off. Jared's off.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow is a second fiddle on this show to Kirk Cousins, which is weird. You would think it'd be all about Joe Burrow, but no, Kirk Cousins, man. Joe Burrow though is a cool dude. Like he's a he's a total nerd, and it's wonderful. Like, and he's like the whole thing with buying the Batmobile is he was just nerding out, and I love that. I wish he would have bought the Batmobile. I mean, who cares? It costs $3 million. It's excess. You're a complete fucking comic book nerd. Let everyone know it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's personality.
That's exactly why you couldn't give me quarterback money, because that would have been the very first thing I did.
Dude, yeah. Like if you're a Trekkie, you're gonna go buy like some Trek stuff. If you're a Star Wars dude, you're gonna try to find, where's the original lightsaber. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like Burrow is like that. I mean, I wish they'd show him more of his nerding out. And Cousins is like just he's an enigma, dude. He is an enigma.
Comment of the day, Luca.
That's funny. That is hilarious. No, it's his Goff's wife is the one you'd keep. She's pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's a good series. So Netflix did, I don't know if I like this series better than Hard Knocks. Because, you need to live Shriver in your life to be the voice of God, as Aaron Rodgers put it. And he'd narrate that show. But I like Hard Knocks. But I don't know. I think I might like this show a little bit better. And you know what's funny about that, too, last year with Burrow? That'd be interesting because Burrow was doing quarterback and Hard Knocks did the AFC North in season. So he was doing 2 shows at once while tearing the league apart. So all this stuff about doing these shows as a distraction, yeah, look at Joe Burrow, dude. Not only was he doing quarterback last year, he also had to deal with, HBO. He was on 2 TV shows at once while having a career year in Cincinnati. Distraction my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be. Who is on Hard Knocks this year? Do we know?
I don't think they announced it. I don't remember hearing anything.
Let me look it up before Luca does. No, they haven't. And camp's about to start. As of now, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Seahawks, and the Titans are the leading candidates. Yeah. Ooh, the Falcons would be interesting though with Penix. The
And Kirk.
Penix Cousins, yeah. Carolina, Seattle, Tennessee. Yeah, that could be an interesting season, but I bet it'll be Atlanta.
Oh.
Ooh, what about the Jaguars? The Jags could be, right? They haven't made the playoff in 2 years. They could be. All right, here's the teams that are eligible. Yeah, I'm surprised camp starts like, 2 weeks? They haven't announced it yet? I mean, they already know, obviously.
No, from what I'm seeing, it's going to be the Buffalo Bills on training camp edition of Hard Knocks.
Let me see who the list is.
Yeah, from NFL.com themselves. And Hard Knocks in season will be the NFC East.
So here are all the teams eligible for Hard Knocks this year. The Cardinals, the Falcons, the Ravens, the Bills. The Bills?
Okay, no.
The Bengals, the
Broncos. It's the Bills that are going to be in for Hard Knocks for training camp. Right off of NFL.com. It's the Bills. Yeah, the Bills have got training camp Hard Knocks.
When did they release that?
May 21st of this year.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, yep, there it is. I see it. Yep, on USA Today did. Okay.
Yeah, it'll premiere on August 5th.
And then who's the in season? Do we know? Oh, NFC East.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's going to be a fun season to watch. Oh, and hey, Joe, just so you think,
Joe had to leave.
Yeah, as I'm looking it up, he bails out. They have the list of the highest defensive cap hits for the year. Guess who's number 1 for now?
Well, Crosby.
Crosby at $38.15 million cap hit. T.J. Watt second at 30.4, but that number's about to change. Some interesting names on there. Rashawn Gary is 5th. Montez Sweat is right behind him. Micah Parsons is 8th on the list, and he's about to get a pay raise. Roquan Smith is 10th. Grenard is 17th at 22.3. Myles Garrett's only 19 at 21.9. Jalen Johnson's at 21 mil at 21. Nick Bosa is at 22. And, Kenny Clark's at 20.37 from the pack. And he's 23rd on that list.
Yeah, and that's why Kenny Clark, there's clamoring for him that he needs to perform better than last year after getting that big restructure. Otherwise, you might be getting shipped out of town, buddy.
Now, let me ask you this question. Yeah, no shit. Let me ask you this question. Who do you think the longest tenured GM in football is right now? That's not an owner. So you can't say Jerry. So the two that you have to, Jerry Jones and Mike Brown from Cincinnati, right? Mike Brown from Cincinnati, Jerry Jones from Dallas. You can't pick them because they are number 1 and number 2. Jerry since '89, Mike Brown since '91, basically when they bought the teams. So after that, who do you think is the longest tenured GM?
Give me Lynch from the 49ers.
He's number 9 overall on the list.
Ooh.
He was hired in January 29th of 2017, signed an extension in 2023. Any guesses in the peanut gallery?
No, that won't come out till the 23rd.
Who do you guys think? If you guys don't be looking it up. Just give me your guesses. Howie Roseman, says Broski. Let me see where Howie Roseman is obviously on the list. Let me see where Howie Roseman is. He's number 5, hired by the Philadelphia Eagles January 29, 2010. However, there is a footnote on him. The Eagles bumped Roseman from the top decision-making post in 2015 for Chip Kelly. But when Chip Kelly was fired, then he got it back. So basically, there was a year loss. But Chip Kelly did take it, but Howie Roseman's number 5 on the list. Number 1 is Jerry Jones. Number 2 is Mike Brown. Any more guesses? Gutekunst is Mitch's. Gutekunst, no. He's 13th on the list. Hired January 7th, 2018. Did an extension in 22. Good guess though on Goody. Trent B says Luca. Trent B. What the hell is Trent B? There are no GMs named Trent. So no. No, Luca. There is no Trent. So the list goes Jerry Jones since 89, Mike Brown since 91, Mickey Loomis from the New Orleans Saints in 2002 is number 3.
God.
John Schneider for the Seahawks has been there since 2010, did an extension in 21.
I didn't realize he was still there. Shit.
Yeah. Then Howie Roseman, the Rams. Les Snead has been there since 2012. The Buccaneers GM, Jason Licht, has been there since 2014. Chris Geyer has been with the Dolphins since 2016, but there's a footnote. Nope. Okay, he still counts. John Lynch is number 9 on the list, right? Since 2017. Chris Ballard from the Colts has been there since 17, just signed an extension in 21. Brandon Beane has been with the Bills since 17. I mean, now these guys are under a decade, but there are a couple guys over a decade. So, like, Brad Holmes was 21. He's 18th. Put it this way, Ryan Poles is 21st on the list, and he was hired in 22. And then you got a bunch of guys who were just hired, because the Raiders, the Jets, the Jags. But yeah, man, like GMs, man, not many over a decade. A couple. Goody though has been there a minute. So I thought that was an interesting list. Yeah, he was fired. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, some surprises there. So that was interesting too. I wonder how much, well, Kwesi just got, when did Kwesi get hired? Kwesi got hired in 22. Okay. So Poles and Kwesi both got hired in a day apart, literally a day apart. Poles got hired on January 25th, 22. Kwesi got January 26th of 22. Kwesi just signed an extension. Poles will get an extension this year, most likely. Brad Holmes was in 21. And he agreed to do an extension in 24. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, 2022. I know, it's funny. Sometimes it seems like they've been there forever. It's been a very short amount of time. So, yeah, I like when they do these shows. Actually, releasing quarterback now is probably perfect, as we get close to camp. Get us away from watching OTA, the non-OTA clickbait crap that's out there. It's a good show, man. If you haven't watched it, watch it. I think Receiver last year was good. Hard Knocks, I can't wait for Hard Knocks. That'll be fun to watch again this year, especially with the Bills. That's going to be good. Yeah. I mean, look, I think they're both good GMs. I think all the GMs in the North are pretty good. I don't think any of the GMs. I don't know if I agree with that. Mitch. I think he'll get an extension this year. They'll extend him. I mean, look at all the GMs in North have put good products on the field. The problem you had with Poles was coaching last year. The offensive line didn't pan out the way he wanted either. I get that. But the guy has brought a ton of really good football talent. He's managed the team well overall. We'll see. I think it's with Ben Johnson. If they have a good year, if they're doing good by mid-season, I think he'll get an extension. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking like around week 10, you've already won 5 or 6 games, he's probably in an extension right then and there. He has brought a lot of really good talent. Their problem has been coaching, and let's be fair in his case, he wasn't a part of the coach hiring process when he came in. Here are 3 guys, take your pick. It's like, okay, well, I have to choose, one. I guess I'll go with Eberflus, because at least he had a good defense. But, none of the 3 guys he picked would have panned out, it seems, because the other 2 didn't do anything anywhere else either. So, yeah, I mean, he has it right there. It's a tough life. You're 1 pick away from a genius or an idiot. I think his draft picks overall have been pretty good. I mean, he's had his misses like everyone else has, but he's had some really good hits. Like Braxton Jones is a really good hit for him, considering where Braxton Jones was taken, and he's been able to be the starting left tackle for his first couple years in the league. He's had some good picks. Well, I don't know. I mean, he missed on Mapletron, but so did Miami. Where'd Mapletron go after Miami?
Wasn't he out of the league after Miami?
Was he out of the league after Miami? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and the players respect him. That's the thing. If your players respect the GM, that's a good thing too. So we haven't had any holdout issues with him or any of that kind of stuff, really. He took care of Roquan kind of, but Roquan was a holdover from the last regime, and he took care of that noise quick because he's shown he'll take care of players. He's fair, but. They should do a show on GMs.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of somewhat got it with the New York Giants edition there.
Dude, that was one of my favorite ones with that, because you really got to peel back the onion a little bit on operations, right? Like, play is cool, but operations is cool too. Like, I would love to follow 3, do a show called General Manager. And follow 3 NFL general managers for a season, because we get the postseason, they do the combine and the Senior Bowl and the draft, but there's a lot of interesting stuff these guys are doing during the season, contract negotiations, looking towards the draft, free agents, coaching decisions, dealing with ownership. That was a good movie. Draft Day was a great movie. Yeah, but you understood though, why they didn't sign Saquon, right? And why they did what they were doing, and what their goals were. And then when they didn't happen, you knew what their goals were, but stuff didn't happen. Oh yeah, I get that, broski. Like I said, he's brought the personnel and he's had coaching issues, right? So we'll see how he does with Ben Johnson. That's why I said that. It's Eberflus wasn't his guy. Ben Johnson is his guy. He has his coach now. So we'll see how Poles does, how this team does. I think Poles gets an extension though. So hear me out. Jen Bears finished, I predict, with 6 wins. It's an improvement, but enough, in my opinion. It's time to move on, as he proved he's not the guy compared to the Lions. I think they win more than 6 games this year. I don't think the Lions are going to take a step back. The Vikings are kind of a little bit unknown. The Packers, unknown. This division is really split a quarter. The Bears are kind of unknown, right? Because we don't know if they have an offensive line or not. A lot of changes in the division. It's weird. The Packers are the most stable. That could be the worst thing. That could literally be the worst thing because they are stable. I don't know. I think they're going to win more than 6 games. if this offensive line is half as bad as it was last year, they're going to put up a shit ton of points. With Ben Johnson calling plays, you're going to put up a shit ton of points think about it. What did he do with Jared Goff and that offensive line? If this Bears offensive line, which was for shit last year, and guys still had pretty solid years, right? So, pretty good years as pros in the offense, and this offensive line is half as bad as it was last year, dude, the Bears team is going to be pretty dangerous, especially if their defense is still good. So I think they'll win more than 6 games. We'll see kind of how they come out of camp injury-wise, because that hurt them last year with their offensive line. They lost 2 of their starters before the season even started. So let's see how the Bears can survive camp injury-wise. But they could be a really good team. I think they'll win more than 6 with Ben Johnson calling plays. One of the things I wanted with Ben Johnson as head coach is if you're bringing an offensive-minded coach, give me a good defensive coordinator, and they did that. So it's going to be an interesting division. Hell of an interesting division. And they're not afraid to steal from each other. We know that. Ben Johnson stole from the Packers. The Stumble-Ruski is because of Jordan Love.
I was going to say, what the hell did he take from Green Bay? But I got you now.
Now, Jordan Love didn't mean to do it. Jordan Love's version looked a lot cooler because he fumbled the ball, it bounced right back into his hand, and he didn't even miss a beat. And that was a lot of luck there. But it looked cooler. But the Ben Johnson play design was like so completely effective. Because everyone bought it. So I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to the Ben Johnson play calling and play design for this offense. So if this offensive line is half as bad as it was last year, they're going to be really good. But yeah, it's going to be a fun division. I don't know. Goff. See, that's the one thing watching quarterback. I don't get Goff's how mentally tough he is. I get how mentally tough Joe Burrow is watching this show. I get how mentally tough Kirk Cousins is watching this show. I don't get that with Jared Goff. And maybe it's because they won 15 games, so you didn't really have to see Goff go through a lot of adversity. You know what I mean? But I don't know how mentally tough Goff is. You kind of see a little bit of it, but he kind of brushes it off like, yeah, it's good to reset. But it's like, I don't know how mentally tough Goff is. And he's going to have a tough year this year, I think, with this new play caller, big changes in the offensive line.
Yeah. There's a hell of a lot of questions they're going to have to answer going into this season. And all that talk about Jared Goff being mentally tough, all it does is remind me of the King of the Hill episode where Bobby has to go to Cotton's old school there. And, he's like mashed potatoes. You can't build them up, but you can't break them down either.
Yeah. I mean, Goff had an impressive year last year. I mean, for sure, they picked 3 quarterbacks. I mean, even Cousins had some impressive stats last year. I mean, he had some impressive games last year, the Cousins. And too bad they're not in Hard Knocks because that would be fun. That's a quarterback battle. Like, I don't think Cousins is going to just sit there and be like, if he's not traded, he's going to want to play. And that's going to be a battle. And I think Cousins might win it, man. I mean, the dude, I don't know. We don't know much about Penix, but, dude, you watch Cousins, that dude just, every time they count the dude out, he comes back. Yeah, he hasn't won, he's not winning playoff games, but, dude, a lot of good quarterbacks aren't winning playoff games. So, I mean, that's going to be fun to watch here in a couple of weeks when that kicks off. But anyways, go watch Quarterback today. That's our theme for the day. Go watch the show on Netflix. Find it. It's a good show. Get some good insight. Let us know what you think tomorrow. We'll be back here tomorrow. Don't forget House Hall is on tonight, and we got the MMA show this afternoon. Be sure to be around for those. And then Penix is realer than Real Deal Holyfield. There we go. Last word from Broski there. Don't forget House Hall tonight, MMA show this afternoon. You guys have a great Wednesday. Enjoy the day. It's nice in the 80s here where it's up in the 90s up north. Ooh, gotta hate that. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Bear down.
Go, Pack, go.